about the glycemic index yet again, because this is my absolute favorite topic to talk about. And everyone hopping on, Melissa, I tagged you. I tagged some of my newbies, my bestie newbies, and everyone else can learn as well. But the glycemic index is what I base everything around personally. When I'm doing my own nutritional planning, when I am working with clients online, regardless if they are doing plant-based nutrition, if they are doing keto, which I don't work with keto people, but everyone that is doing keto is doing low glycemic because they're barely consuming carbs. So any of you guys that are doing keto, let me know in the comments. Any of you that are trying to dial in on low glycemic nutrition, give me a number 1 in the comments. All my clients that I tag should be dropping ones in the comments. And if you are someone that is new to this whole nutrition, low glycemic game, and you really want to learn more, and you possibly want to up your nutrition game, your exercise game, drop a 2 in the comments. No pressure at all. I'll just give you some information, okay? But yes, there are my girls in the house. Okay, so the glycemic index was created actually for diabetics, and it's a ranking system of foods. So it basically takes every food that contains carbohydrates, and it allows you to understand how quickly that food is digested in the body. So very high glycemic foods like watermelon, white bread, pure sugar, you eat the food, it's digested very quickly in the body, and therefore blood sugar goes up very quickly, and pancreas releases insulin in order to bring your blood sugar back down to baseline. But the problem with doing this is that we have that sugar buzz, that you feel great and you're up here because your blood sugar's up there, and then when your body digests it quickly, your blood sugar drops, and then when you eat again, you eat a poor choice of food, again, the high glycemic food, you eat again, it spikes your blood sugar up again, dropping up and down and up and down. And that can bring on a world of problems, not to mention that we eventually develop insulin resistance because your insulin levels always stay a little bit elevated. Now, the problem with having elevated insulin, we cannot burn fat in the presence of insulin. So we want to do everything in our power to keep blood sugar as slow and as little bit of a rise and fall as we can. Therefore, insulin only has to be released a little bit, and it has time to come back to baseline. Pancreas isn't all out of whack, pumping out more and more and more, and our system's getting totally chaotic. In the long run, leads to a ton of problems, but weight gain and diabetes eventually can stem from this, okay? So drop some love in the comments, people that are hopping on. Amy, hello, hello. And again, if you guys have any desire to learn more about this and you want to work one-on-one or even learn about it, give me a 2 in the comments. So a lot of my clients I create plans for, and everything's based around this low glycemic nutrition, because when we're eating low glycemic foods, we stay in a fat burning zone because insulin levels are where they should be. Blood sugar levels are where they should be. Now, sometimes we are craving the bad foods, right? We're craving the bread. We're craving the white rice. We're craving sugar, cookies, candy. Drop your favorite high glycemic food in the comments. I'm sure everyone can think of a high glycemic food, whether it is chocolate cake, or if you are like Italian like myself and you're like, ooh, that garlic bread, like whatever it is, drop your best, think of the best thing you can think of. Drop it in the comments. Let's just daydream like we're just gorging ourselves right now, but we're really not. But there are times when I tell my clients, if you're having a birthday, if you're having a celebration, if you are having your cheat, do not cheat all the time, but you want to save your cheats for when you really, really, really want those cheats. Now, if you want that piece of bread, your cheat's probably going to be bigger than a piece of bread, but if you want that Italian feast, if you want that big slice of cake, and I can't wait to read through some of these comments, but mocha in your coffee is a cheat. Shoot, that's a clean cheat. But I love some mocha. I used to do that with like unsweetened cocoa powder in my coffee every morning. Oh, I loved it. So if you really want that bad high glycemic food, I tell everyone, do not have it as is. So probably 90% of my clients are doing intermittent fasting. If any of you guys that are not a client of mine are doing intermittent fasting, or even clients that are, drop a intermittent fasting in the comments because I love it, I love it, I love it. I love it for the cognitive benefits. I'm not trying to really change much about my body, but cognitive benefits, detoxification, I could go on and on and on. So many benefits to intermittent fasting. But I tell them, if you are eating 2 meals or 3 meals, regardless, I don't want you to have that cheat as a meal. I want you to eat some protein, some healthy fats, and then have your cheat, because it's going to lower the overall glycemic index of that cheat, okay? So I tell people all the time, if you want to go to a restaurant, you want to have that garlic bread that they bring out, the breadsticks, whatever it is, that yummy, yummy, yummy. Yes, day one, intermittent fasting, my girl is going to kill it. You guys, wait. Or tell the server, don't bring it out yet. I want to have my grilled chicken, or, you know, if you're out, I don't know what, see, I don't go out to eat that often because I do live pretty much 95% plant-based. And going to an Italian restaurant would be very difficult to find a good, substantial amount of protein within one of their dishes. But, you know, whatever the protein source is, whether it's meatballs, it's veal, it's chicken, start eating that first. Your body is so busy breaking down the proteins and the healthy fats, hopefully they're healthy, that when you throw in that piece of cheesecake or whatever you want to eat, or garlic bread, your body is not going to recognize it the same way. Whereas if you just eat it solo and your body's like, ooh, this is made out of white flour and it's made out of sugar and it's made out of, you know, just all the simple things that are digested so quickly, and your body has no trouble consuming it, digesting it, spiking blood sugar. Even if it's not a sugary food, you guys, blood sugar is still going to get elevated very quickly, and it's going to plummet very quickly. Insulin levels stay elevated, which is the fat storage, which is what we do not want. So drop a little bit of fat burning machines in the comments. Hashtag fat burning machines, because that is what the goal is, right? I tell people it's not so much about just eating for that meal and like, oh, I hit my calories and boom, did it, done. It's about transforming your body internally every day, doing little changes every day to allow your body to start functioning at its optimal capacity, eliminating as much inflammation in the body as humanly possible in a natural way before you even incorporate any supplements into the mix, training properly, the most efficiently and effective way that you can in order to not only burn calories during that exercise bout, but to have an afterburn that is going to keep continually burning calories and fat even when you're resting, okay? So that's what my plans are all about. It's not just, okay, I'm gonna follow the plan because I ate my macros, I hit it, boom. It's looking in the long run, the long scheme of things, the overall picture. So, and again, I don't tell anyone to completely eliminate anything unless that is something that they want to do. But this is life. Like, life would be miserable if you couldn't have that glass of wine from time to time. That's my vice, okay? So I tell people, I am not going to put you on a plan that is taking away the one thing that is something that you do look forward to. Not to say that alcohol is the only thing that I look forward to, but I would much rather have a glass of wine or a little cocktail of Tito's than having a big slice of cake, and that's just me, okay? So whatever your thing is, if you are someone that's trying to find an online coach, whether it be me, the next person, make sure that coach is understanding about what you need in order to be able to maintain that plan. Because if they're going to create a plan for you that is so cut and dry, and I got to have steamed broccoli and egg whites, and I might get to have some oatmeal, but I got to eat them dry with, I mean, I've seen some crazy crazy things from people that give me what their previous coach had them do. And yes, they may have hit their numbers on the scale, but they lost it up here. I'm going to tell you right there. They lost it up there. They even told me I went crazy and then I just ate the whole loaf of bread. We can all relate to that, you guys. We can all relate to like, oh man, I'm kicking it. I'm killing the game. I am sticking to the plan. And you're like 2 weeks in, you're like, I got this, even though I'm craving some things, but like I'm gonna push that out of my mind. I'm not gonna think about it. And then one day, it's your birthday, and your mom bought you this cake, and then your family's like, come on, it's just a slice, it's your birthday. And then you have a little taste of it, and then you're like you cannot stop. And then you guys, it's really not a joke, because that's when you gain the weight back and your mind starts playing crazy tricks on you. And then you start believing that no matter what, you cannot do it. And you start shaming yourself. And then you think like, maybe I just shouldn't be able to lose the weight because I'm not able to follow something simple as nutrition. And I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, and it's really sad that that's the way that we function. But I mean, I get that way too. Mine may not be in the nutrition and exercise world, but it's in a different arena that a lot of you that know me well can understand that, you get to the point where you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not capable. Maybe I'm not capable. And I get sidetracked like I always do, but that's how it is. Okay, so bringing it back, I have some things here that if you want to know like how to look at labels, and you want to be able to tell like, okay, is this low glycemic, high glycemic? What do I look at when I'm looking at the nutrition label? I'm going to show you a couple things. And I tend to have mostly low glycemic things, but there are some things that I do have that are higher, so I'll show you. Now, before I hop into like the nutrition label reading, I do want to tell you two things to consider when thinking about glycemic index in terms of your overall meals. So if you add anything acidic, so lemon juice, vinegar to a meal, you will actually lower the glycemic index. Drop that in the comments. Mike, you're on. Okay, so perfect timing. So because I tell my clients, if they haven't already, start taking a shot of apple cider vinegar in the morning. But if you do it with a meal, like I always tell people, if you eat salad, try to have a vinaigrette if you can, because that is going to lower the glycemic index. I mean, a salad's low GI anyhow, but I'm glad you did too. So vinegar anytime you can, or lemon juice. I mean, those two things throughout the day will be a game changer. Also, when you are cooking your food, if you cook something very fast, microwave it, or you put it like super high, on super high, and you're cooking it real fast in a skillet, or you're cooking it like on super high heat in the oven, that will actually that will increase the glycemic index when you cook something very fast, as opposed to slowly cooking it, okay? So crock pot meals, slowly cooking it, is going to be actually considered lower glycemic, even if it's the same ingredients. Whereas if you nuke it in the microwave, it's going to raise the glycemic index. So that kind of brings me to the point of when you buy something that's processed oats, if you see anything that says quick oats, quick this, all you have to do is pop it in the toaster. All you have to do is nuke it in the microwave. It's done in 30 seconds to 60 seconds. When you see that, that is going to mean probably 99.9% of the time that it's going to be digested that quickly. It's going to spike blood sugar that quickly. Insulin, the whole up and down yo-yo game that we want to avoid is going to happen. So do not buy processed foods if you can help it. I get it. I have a child too. I have a toddler. All she wants, nuggets, mac and cheese. Now, I do my best to make things from scratch, but sometimes you just don't have the time. So you have to do the best you can do and buy the best you can buy. But when it comes to processed foods, you have to be very careful, because a lot of the things that will say, low fat will be super high in sugar, And, if you finally find something, so, I found 2 things I'll show you. So I am really big on keeping lower carb, high protein wraps in my house. I'm just going to show you all of them because I think it's a very quick and easy meal 2 option for those of you doing intermittent fasting, because I don't usually eat a meal 2. I usually do just 2 meals. So Bob's Red Mill rolled oats, yes, and microwave it. No, that's fine, Mike. That is totally fine. That's what I do. Now I also, what do I do with it? Okay, so I'm going to show you the steel cut, okay? So a little bit better than the rolled oats would be the steel cut, and you can taste the difference. And the cooking process is a lot longer when you get the steel cut. So it's still low GI, and then Mike, the way that I have you eating it with the additional ingredients is going to lower the glycemic index as well. But I tell people, like, don't get in the habit of eating oatmeal with sugar or brown sugar, or even if it's just stevia and cinnamon and water and that's it, because you need additional protein, you need additional fat, and that's going to overall lower the GI. But something like steel cut oats, you can just taste how firm it is and the process that it takes to cook. So if it takes a longer time to cook, the glycemic index is going to be lower because it's not going to be broken down as easily. Whereas quick oats, which rolled oats are different than quick oats, but quick oats, quickly cook it, quickly digest it, quickly spike blood sugar, insulin. So stay away from the quick. If you are going to do the quick, you need to eat it with additional fiber or protein, okay? So that's another thing. If you guys were not aware, and I know I'm hopping around, but I just kind of shoot out information as I feel it comes to my brain. Now, when you are looking at any nutrition label, so I'm going to show you here, and it kind of feeds into my next point of looking at the nutrition labels and being able to tell if they're low glycemic, medium, high. And this isn't something that you're going to learn like one-time shot, but just start getting in the habit, okay? So the Be Free brand is a good brand. Now, they are non-GMO. They're not organic, but I mean, whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. They're gluten-free, wheat-free, high in fiber, nut and egg-free, soy-free, vegan-friendly, non-GMO, dairy-free. Great, right? Okay, so I'm going to look at the calories. This is for 1 wrap, 110. Fat, 2.5. Carbs, 15. Fiber, 6. Protein, 4. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do, look at the carbs and then look at the sugar. Now, obviously, this is not a sugary food, but if you were looking at a protein bar, which we can go through in just a second, the sugar is the main concern in a sugary food. Your sugar is never going to be higher than your carbs, right? Because sugar is a carb. So look at that, okay? So right here, we're just focusing on the carbs because there's no sugar. 15 total carbs, 6 grams of fiber. You always subtract the fiber from the carbs to get the net impact carbs. So don't worry about those 6 grams. So you subtract, we only have 9 grams of net impact carbs that we need to worry about per wrap. Now, you also have a little bit of healthy fat, 2.5. There's no saturated fat in here. And we're getting it from quinoa, chia seed. There's a lot of other things in there, but 4 grams of protein, okay? So I tell people you want to think on a balancing, scale here. So you have the 9 carbs, and we're looking at 4 grams of protein. So not that it doesn't work exactly like this to where you just subtract, but just kind of think of it on that scale. Okay, we have a little bit of healthy fat, so we're going to take that away, a little bit of protein, and you're left with very few carbs, okay? So that is low glycemic. Again, this is not like a 100% of the time because it does depend on the ingredients, but something like that, very healthy, keep it in your fridge, good brand, and unfortunately something like this, it's not organic, but this is a really good vegan option too, the Extreme Olay brand. Okay, we're gonna go through it. 2 tortillas is a serving. And it's really hard to find gluten-free high protein. So that's why I was like, whoa, you know, my friend Cecilia is gluten-free. And then this is gluten-free. It's really hard to find. And unfortunately, I've not found one that's like organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, like everything that tastes good. And I'll let you know when I do. But this, I mean, these all taste good to me, but not one has everything you're looking for. And that's just life, right? I mean, you do what you can do. You can't be perfect on everything. So the carbs, 25, subtract 4 grams of fiber, and then we have 1.5 grams of fat, and we have 9 grams of protein. So you subtract the 4 from 25, you have 21 grams of carbs, and then you have 9 grams of protein. So with that, if you, and this, the main ingredient, pea protein, which is good, because a lot of times it'll be like wheat, gluten protein, things like that. So with it being gluten-free, obviously we don't have that. So with this, eat it with additional protein or additional fiber, and it's going to be super low GI. It is fairly low GI as is, okay? So it's low to medium, but you pair it with additional fiber, it's going to keep going down. Protein, it's going to keep going down. Why? Because our body's so busy breaking down those things that when we put something in it that is a little bit higher GI, it's going to lower the overall meal's glycemic index. So don't think of it as just this one thing that I'm consuming. Think of it as the overall meal, but you really want to start the meal by putting in protein, fibrous foods, protein slash and fibrous foods, they're not the same. That way your body is starting to process and work to burn and to digest, that when you're putting in something that may be slightly higher GI, it's not gonna recognize it the same, okay? So this is another brand that I keep in my house, La Tortilla Factory. I'm like a high carb wrap queen. Okay, so let's look at graham crackers. Graham crackers are high glycemic for the most part, okay? So these, again, sorry, my light's bright, shining bright, organic. You know, just because something is organic doesn't mean it's healthy, okay? But my daughter loves some graham crackers, so we have these. There is a brand Kodiak Cakes makes, and I get them, and they're high protein. But again, that brand, they shove that marketing in your face, like, ooh, it's high protein, it's got this, it's got that, and at the end of the day, there's like a million ingredients, just like they all have. I mean, it's all boxed, processed, hello. But life is life, and we can't be perfect, right? So on here, we have 24 carbs. We have less than 1 gram of fiber, so no fiber, in my opinion, 7 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of fat, only 2 grams of protein. So right there, I'm like, well, I can't subtract anything fiber-wise. 2 grams, so I mean, if I wanted to subtract, it'd be like 22 grams, 4 grams of fat, but I have 3 of those grams are 2 are saturated. So it's gonna be pretty high glycemic index here. If you absolutely wanted to eat these, I would eat it with some peanut butter and then maybe have some boiled eggs along with it, okay? That's the way my brain works. If I'm gonna give this, and again, Presley, I try not to just give her stuff like this. If she wants it, I'm gonna try to give her like her chocolate milk, which is the protein drink, the vegan protein drink that I give her. So I'll have her do that and then maybe like a couple of these with it, because overall, the consumption is going to be lower GI than just having it. Not to say she doesn't snack all the darn time, but I try to do my best, okay? Coconut flour. So this is, flour is something that there's so many options out there, so many options that I really feel, I hate to say this, but I just don't know why there's any need for white flour. I don't. And you guys might be like, you're a lunatic, Sarah, just relax, just bake a cake with white flour. Well, you know what, maybe the day will come, but I always substitute with oat flour or almond flour or coconut flour, and it tastes pretty darn good to me, and the glycemic index is much lower. It's just a lot healthier. So with this, 2 tablespoons, you have 9 carbs, 6 grams of fiber. Subtract 6, we have 3 net impact carbs, And then you have 3 grams of protein, 1.5 grams of fat, 1 saturated, yeah, but who cares? So low, 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 very low. So I hope going through that, and then, you know, okay, last thing, this Propello Life protein is one of the protein powders that I use. We have 1.5 grams of carbs because plant-based protein is a little bit higher carb, which is fine. You have 3.5 grams of fiber, subtract that, 16 grams of protein, and there's only 2 grams of sugar, and then 1.5 grams of fat. So you look at the overall balance of everything, low GI. Voila. Okay, so. Yes, everyone, drop some love in the comments. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. But I need to hop on a call. I hope that helped. And any of you that are watching this on the replay, let me know if you are interested in upping your game. Give me a 2 in the comments and I will give you more details. Any of you that are working with me, if you have any specific questions, drop it in the comments or privately message me and I can respond. And I'm not going to sing anymore because I have a really terrible voice. That's it. Okay. See you guys later.